guns, gear, and on-target training out here in Oregon. It's been an interesting week amidst the panic buying of toilet paper and firearms by the general public. Now, I am not sure why the rush on toilet paper, but if you've got it, you've got it, and you'll be able to use it at some point. Maybe not all the toilet paper you have in the next couple of years, but at least you've got it. As it relates to firearms, I was visiting a local gun store here in Beaverton and was chatting with one of the owners, and he said to me last weekend, I said, "Hey, how's it going?" He said, "Boy, sales are through the roof. We can't keep guns in stock. We're selling out of everything." I said, "Really? Tell me about that." He said, "Well, we're getting all kinds of folks who've never owned a firearm coming in and wanting to buy one." And interestingly enough, many of those people are folks on the left who generally have been anti-Second Amendment and anti-gun ownership. However, they feel that in light of today's situation and the uncertainty that we're in today, that they want to have a firearm. A couple of those people told the owner, "I'm looking for a gun that will only wound people." Well, apparently, those folks that are looking for that might want to stop watching so many Hollywood movies and watching TV, because the reality is a firearm is potentially lethal if you shoot someone with it. So for those folks who are only looking to wound, I would suggest you get some pepper spray, because you're obviously not prepared to actually use the tool in a lethal encounter. So the second thing that really has me more freaked out than the lack of toilet paper is that we've got, hundreds of people, thousands of people exercising their Second Amendment right, which I fully support their right to keep and bear arms. Along with that right is the responsibility that gun owners have to safety, not only their safety, but safety of their loved ones and people around them. So we've got people, thousands, probably tens of thousands of people buying ammunition and buying guns. And they're buying guns assuming that having the gun and the ammunition will allow them to use the tool for personal protection or home defense. And while some of them may get lucky, the reality is, for anybody, and most of you who watch this channel are people who are actively engaged in the shooting sport, and you know how hard it is to maintain a basic level of proficiency unless you're practicing and training constantly. So if somebody's buying a gun for the first time and they expect that in an armed encounter, a fight for their life, that they're immediately going to be able to put that tool into action and do it safely for their family that they're protecting and not hurt themselves, is really, it's frightening. And what I worry about is a lot of these people that are buying firearms that don't understand what a firearm can do, and they don't have any idea of actually how to store it. They're buying a gun, they're loading it up, and they're leaving it around, just lying around. And to me, if you are that afraid of the environment you're in, the gun should be on your person. And if it's not, then it should be locked in a safe where you can quickly get to it. And there are so many options for safes right now. Biometric safes, the button safes that I've had before, where you punch 2 buttons or 3 buttons and the door pops open. You can have, round chambered and, your magazine loaded in the gun, ready to go. But it's not going to be accessible to a child or to someone who shouldn't have access to it. So for all those new gun owners, I welcome you, and I'm glad you're exercising your Second Amendment rights. I would ask you to please do some basic firearm safety training. Take a class, and then start taking classes where you're actively shooting the gun under a supervised environment, so you can develop the basic level of fundamental skills that will allow you to be safe and proficient. And finally, to all those folks who are, having to stockpile, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 rounds, I think if everybody just take a break and, you've got ammo, you'll be fine. If everybody just takes a break and takes their pressure off the pedal of the panic buying, it will allow ammunition to become available for everybody at much more reasonable prices. If you don't get that, then you don't really understand economics. So please, people, if you got a firearm, make sure you understand safety and you know how to safely store it. Secondly, get trained. Get trained. And the third thing is practice, practice, practice. That's the only way you're going to have the skill to actually use that firearm for personal defense or personal protection. I appreciate you watching. Interesting times we're living in. I hope all of you are staying safe and taking care of your families.